The Hunting Grounds is presented by Dryshod Footwear, our choice in rubber boots. Whether we're hunting, working food plots, or working on the farm or in the backyard, you will not find a more comfortable, longer lasting rubber boot.
Okay, I'm recording.
Are you recording?
Yep.
Looking at my notes here. You good? Oh, sweet. Well, oh no! Well guys, it's almost deer season, so just kind of getting everything prepped and ready to go. Wanted to do a little video talking about filming your hunts. Now I know this is not really as new as it used to be because just about everybody films their hunt in some form or capacity. A lot of times it's with this right here, which is a great tool. We do some filming with our cell phones. Just wanted to talk briefly about my setup in particular. Been filming my hunts for probably 10 years now. It's crazy to think, Drake, that I've been filming for 10 years. I'm getting on up there in age. During that time frame of filming, I would say about 99.9% of that is self-filming. So going out in the woods, having a setup like you see behind me, and filming my own hunts. Over these past 10 years of filming, learned a few things, wanted to share them with you guys. And the first thing is bigger is not always better. And I'll start off with showing you my first ever tripod. I think this is a Coleman tripod. It was about $100 or so, and just wanted something that was heavy duty. For some reason, you know, I just was like, I'm gonna get me a heavy duty tripod. Looking back now, that was the dumbest thing I could have ever done. And kind of the same mindset went into my self-filming setup for deer hunting as well. This is big and bulky and heavy, so whenever I'm walking around in the woods, whether I'm deer hunting from the ground or turkey hunting is whenever I mainly use the tripods, this thing's heavy. I don't know, I'd probably say it's about 3.5, 4 pounds, which doesn't seem like a lot, but whenever you're walking around with other gear and trekking through the woods, maybe a mile, 2 miles, or walking around all season, that weight starts to add up a little bit. So as I started to film a little bit more, that mindset of bigger is not always better, I really started to adopt that, and a lot of people do. The minimalist, mobile hunting, lightweight, and went with this 4th Arrow camera arm a few years ago, and this thing weighs significantly less than the other tripod. The weight just doesn't stack up as much. It's a lot easier to tote around, whether I'm deer hunting or turkey hunting, and same mindset goes into the self-filming setup for deer hunting as well. And I'll show you what I'm talking about. All right, so if you'll come here and check out this camera base right here. This is a 4th Arrow camera base. I don't know which model, don't know, first generation camera arm base from 4th Arrow. I just know this was the first one I got probably 5 or 6 years ago, and you can see that it is significantly bigger than this other one over here. When I first started filming, we'll touch base on some of this in a little bit. I had some cheaper setups, which cheaper is not always better either, but I got more of a decent setup, and it was a muddy camera arm. Don't know which model, I just know it was the big triangular one that stuck off the tree. And if any of you guys remember anything about self-filming or have done it yourself, there's a good chance you own one of these muddy camera arms. Now they were big, they were heavy duty, they worked like they were supposed to, but they also stuck out a little bit farther than these, and they had a huge base system on them with a leveling system on the back side. So it was a big contraption. The weight really even wasn't something that necessarily bothered me at the time, but it was just so big and bulky, and it was hard to fit in my pack. So more recently I upgraded to this newer base from 4th Arrow, and as you guys can see, it is a lot smaller than the other one. This is a 4th Arrow camera arm as well, much smaller than what I used from 4th Arrow years ago, and that was called the stiff arm. It was a heavier duty camera arm that was made for, I would say, probably 8-10 pound plus cameras. It did its job, it worked well, but it was just too big and bulky for the setup that I was running or wanting to run, and the way I was wanting to hunt. But these are universal, so this one will slide down in here. Talked a little bit about bigger is not necessarily better, and obviously cheaper is not always better as well. This is a camera arm. I've never used this. When I bought my camera that Drake's running right now, the guy sent this camera arm with it. This is a Muddy. It does remind me of one of the very first camera arms that I ever used. Obviously, first starting out, wanted to get something cheap and become, you know, experienced and acquainted with self-filming. And I learned very quickly that this was going to be kind of difficult. I mean, it's a decent setup, but it's just not as fluid as this other setup here. And I'll show you guys. One of the big things is swinging ability. This one makes a lot of noise because it's got a lot of metal on metal contact. The big thing for me that I noticed is a lot of these cheap camera arms, they came with cheap fluid heads. When you got a camera on this and you're trying to get good footage that isn't super shaky, this one's actually not too bad. But compared to this one right here, which is a Manfrotto, and I've had this one for a long time, it's very fluid. It's definitely a lot more expensive. I think this one was probably 120 when I bought it at the time, but it's so much more fluid. So whenever you're filming your hunts and you're self-filming and you're trying to get good quality film, having a good fluid head is definitely going to help out. So while we're on the topic of fluid heads, I really like this one. I'm probably going to keep it. It's really good. Say I'm going in to film somebody, I can carry this in my own backpack, not have to worry about my own hunting setup or turkey hunting. I really like using this this fluid head, especially because it has the long handle here that I can attach my remote to, so my movement isn't as aggressive as it would be with something with a smaller handle. I do wish this was smaller, especially when I'm self-filming my own hunts, just because this is kind of big and bulky and it takes up a lot of space. So if I could do that over again, I would get something, probably still a Manfrotto product, but I want to upgrade this, downgrade, whatever you want to call it, upgrade for me, get something a little bit smaller that's not going to take up as much space in my hunting pack. But vice versa, I bought this for about 50 bucks. It's real smooth. It doesn't really work great with my camera, which I'll talk about my camera here in a little bit, but if you've got a smaller camera or even an attachment for your phone, this is a pretty good fluid head here. One of my biggest knocks on using this fluid head here is when I took the remote off and put it on this handle. As you guys can see, there just wasn't a whole lot of room. So it was real crowded. So I didn't like that. Now, speaking of the remote, for me, this is a must-have. And I remember the very first camera I bought, I don't remember the name of it, but it was just a small handheld camcorder. It was not remote compatible, and I actually used that for a turkey season and ended up getting a different camera right before deer season because I wanted something that I could use a remote with. And this right here, especially if you're self-filming, the ability to do everything from right here is just awesome. Okay, so we'll go to the next point here, and that is POV cams, action cameras. This is the GoPro Hero 10. I've been using this for the past few years. This is a Rig something, I don't know really what it is. Steven had one of these and I played around with it a few years ago and really liked it. So during turkey season, I'm going to use something like this, and I'll show you why. It can extend out. I think it can go a little bit farther. And then this part, if I can get it to work, it opens up at the bottom. Can use it as a tripod, set it up behind me, a little bit of over the shoulder action while I'm turkey hunting. Really anything from the ground. So if I'm deer hunting from the ground, I'll probably use something like this. But if I'm gonna be in a tree, where'd that go? I'm going to use this GoPro attachment clamp here. You've probably seen tons of people use this. I've been running one of these for a while now. But if I am going to be hunting from a tree stand or going in and hunting from a saddle or something, I'm probably going to use something like this so I can get up in a tree, clamp it on a branch, and get that point of view. Now, I will say, I really like my GoPro Hero 10. I've got a different kind of cover over here on the side where the battery is that allows me to get to the charger port just so I can plug it in and charge it while I'm hunting, and because this is something that runs pretty much like 80% of the time when I'm out in the woods, especially turkey hunting or something. I got it like this so I can do my vlogging, I guess, when I'm walking in. Same thing with that one over there. I do have some DJI mics that I plan to incorporate a little bit more this coming season, the wireless mics. And on the note of the GoPro Hero 10, there is a way that you can hook a wireless mic system up. What I would like to do is get rid of this and get a DJI action camera, either the 4 or 5. And the reason is because they directly Bluetooth and connect to my DJI wireless mics. I can just put my mic on, I don't have to have my transmitter, and I'm going to be able to get a wireless audio to that action camera while I'm hunting and not have to worry about that connection coming loose, or having a wired connection, should I say. So on the note of cameras, I'm running the GoPro. I'll use my cell phone in some cases. The Sony NX80, which is a camera I've wanted to run for years now. The last camera I had was a Canon FX400. It was a bigger and bulkier camera. It was a workhorse, don't get me wrong. It would shoot some beautiful footage. Wanted to get something that was a little bit smaller. I was able to snag this NX80 for a good deal, and I've really enjoyed using it. It's a smaller camera, so it's just not going to take up a lot of space. It don't weigh a whole lot. Something that I wanted to transition to was a smaller camera that still shot good quality video, 4K, wouldn't take up as much space, because that's kind of a big thing for me now. So I want to be able to throw everything in my pack. I want everything to be as light as possible, so I'm light as possible walking into the woods. I used to run the shotgun mics on top of them. I didn't bring it outside. I do have a shotgun mic for that camera, but it goes back to being bulky and taking up space. I know there's a lot of cool things you can do with the XLR ports, but for me, running that small Rode Go mic on the camera, that's going to work great for what I need it to. The biggest thing I would say for you guys that are wanting to get into self-filming, just do it. You're gonna learn, you're gonna grow. Did not get to this point overnight. It took about 10 years to finally figure out this is what I want to do and this is how I want to do it. If you're interested in getting into self-filming, even now, I talk about filming for the last 10 years, and you take somebody like Steve that's been doing it for the last, he's an old man now, he's 40, the last 15, 20 years of his life, you know, it's maybe even longer than that. It might be like 25 years. It's so neat to go back and look at some of this old footage, to see clips from a long time ago, harvests from a long time ago, really just the experiences in being out there, and to reflect back on them. You know, it's something I can show my kiddos years from now, and when I film them and show them years from now. So I really enjoy self-filming. Sometimes it's a chore. Just hop right in. You carry around something in your pocket every day that's a great tool for self-filming. Just wanted to do this video for you guys. Hopefully it helps you all in some form or fashion. If you got any questions, post them down in the comments below. We'll make sure and try to answer your question. Hope you guys have a good season, and we'll see y'all later.
Won't you tickle